It's showtime.
What's up, good people, and welcome to the Frank Harris Show, the biggest, the baddest, and the best show on earth. I don't know what happened to my back. Man, I'm having some back spasms right now. Maybe it's because I was dunking on so many people at my game at 24-Hour Fitness the other day, and so I'm feeling the repercussions of it. Anyway, let's kick it off right away. Today we have on the show the infamous, the famous, straight from Harlem, Grandpa SMOOTH, Grandpa Smooth. Grandpa Smooth, what's good?
Hey, good afternoon, my people. So glad to be invited back again to the Frank Harris Show.
Now, Grandpa Smooth, look at the camera right there.
Right
There you
on,
go.
right on. You know, it's wonderful. We have a wonderful day, and I'd like to give thanks to the Most High and the Creator.
All right, so we're going to tap right into it. Grandpa Smooth, we almost at the very end of the NBA season. Some atrocious basketball going on right now. The Celtics Dallas series is terrible. We'll talk about that later. But with that being the case, right, Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the NBA, and it got me to thinking, Grandpa Smooth, if you were starting an NBA franchise right now, if you were starting an NBA franchise right now, what one player would you choose to start your franchise with, Grandpa Smooth? What one player would you choose? Look into the camera. Yeah, look in the camera.
Oh.
Tell it.
But the one player I'm gonna choose is Djokovic.
Look into the camera.
I mean, where they go?
Right there.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
Yes. The Joker. He's the baddest boy, baddest big man out there, baby. Unstoppable, damn near. Triple-double machine.
So you start with Jokic, and you feel like, why? You say triple-double machine, unstoppable on offense. Why else would you choose him?
Well, he got one championship under his belt. He's a leader. He's a quiet leader, but he lead by his play. And when you watch him, he's one of the most physical players in the game. And right now, when you look at the big men in the game, guess what? He the man.
But is it a big man's league anymore?
Yes, still a big man's league.
Okay. So, Jokic, great choice, right? He's been MVP multiple years. Won't go down as one of the greatest players in the NBA history, especially if he wins another ring. You know, already, in my opinion, a top 20 player, you can maybe argue, maybe not top 20 ever, but still very, very good, right? Should be in the next, they do another top 50 to top 75. But to me, this is a slam dunk, unequivocal, easy question. If I was starting an NBA franchise today, you know who I'm starting with? Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama. The guy's a freak. Let me tell you why I can't start with Jokic. You can't start on one side of the court. We're watching what's happening right now in the series of Boston and Dallas. This guy, Doncic, phenomenal offensive talent. Magic Johnson-esque in terms of the way he sees the court, passes the ball, big guy, puts it on the floor, scores better than Magic. Not as great a leader as Magic, obviously, but the guy offensively is tremendous offensively, okay? He plays no defense. He plays no defense, and his team is suffering significantly because he plays no defense. Jokic plays maybe a little bit more defense than Doncic, but Jokic is not.
He played way more defense.
Well, he doesn't play way more, right? Because, I mean, way more.
You can't just bring it down there, in there on him. He blocks shots.
No, he doesn't. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is the reason why I'm starting with him, because he's phenomenal on both ends of the court, okay? He's the best offensive player on the court quite often because of his skill set, and he's the best defensive player on the court because of his skill set and size, okay? You got a 7'4", 7'5" guy that can put the ball on the floor, that can shoot threes, that can pass. He's an unstoppable offensive force, and then the same guy on the other end can guard on the perimeter, can block shots. He's a phenomenal rebounder. Look, there are a lot of great players in the NBA. You got Antetokounmpo, obviously, who's a really, really good player. You got Joel Embiid, who's another really, really good player. So, you know, you got even LeBron James today is still very good. You know, leadership experience, etc. You know, there's a lot of great players in the NBA. Tatum, who's playing now with the Celtics. A bit overrated in my opinion, but still a really good player. But to me, it's hands down Victor Wembanyama, the unicorn, the guy that would be the future of the NBA. So you go Jokic, I go Wembanyama.
But with Wembanyama, I like the way he played. But he's 7'3" or 4", and he playing outside. And a guy like him, thin as he is, he don't have the physical prowess. He's dribbling through underhand shots. He tough, but I don't think he can physically handle the NBA.
Well, he's different. He's a rookie of the year this year, right? I mean, he's the best rookie in the NBA, and right now, most people think that he's a franchise player. He'll be the face of the NBA in 2 years, 3 years potentially. So he's clearly showed that he can handle the rigors of the NBA. I mean, he's been phenomenal this rookie year.
Well, this phenomenal. 1 year. But I'm just saying his body is out there for them physical boys to tap. So let's see what happens. Now they done has gotten the opportunity to see him play. Let's see what happened in year 2.
Well, the physical guys
come back to me in year 2.
The physical guys can't touch him. They can't catch him because he's 7'5". He got a 7-footer on him. How can he stay in front of him?
Well, you're right about that. They ain't gonna let you blow on him. And in this day's NBA, you can't blow on him. Foul, please. So you're right. Maybe they're gonna protect him. Okay. We'll see. 2 years, 2-3 years from now.
Okay, you take Jokic, I take Victor Wembanyama. I mean, I know you probably haven't had time to think about this, right? But are there any comps that you see out? Because, I mean, you have a lot of basketball experience historically. Are there any comps that you think about, guys that you've seen play, older players, old school players, that those two players remind you of, or either one of the two guys remind you of? And I know it's on the spot, so maybe you can't think about it.
Oh, no, I'm a genius. Number one is very easy to pick the player. I think that he exemplified.
Which one are you talking about, Jokic or
Wembanyama?
Okay. So what NBA player you think of historically that you think he reminds you of?
His name just was on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna pull you in with me. He came out of Virginia University, Virginia.
That's an interesting comp, Ralph Sampson. Okay.
Oh, that's it.
Ralph Sampson.
He reminds me of Ralph Sampson. Okay. And that's why it scares me. Because Sampson, running on them knees, and because he could have been one of the greatest basketball players ever with the talent he had. So Wembanyama is the one who...
That's a good comp. Ralph Sampson, 3-time National Player of the Year at the University of Virginia, came into the NBA, played for the Houston Rockets, played with the great Akeem Olajuwon. He didn't win a championship with Olajuwon, but they got deep into the playoffs multiple years. Ralph Sampson was a can't-miss player who everybody thought was going to be a great NBA player, but he suffered from injuries, right?
Right.
He got injured quite often.
And one of the plays that's in my memory in history of basketball with few seconds on the clock, he got it and jammed on, was it Kareem them? He jammed on Kareem them to win the game.
Okay.
That's one of the greatest moves in the game.
So what's your so that was a very good comp, I think. But I think Wembanyama is significantly better, but that's an example of a really tall guy that was skilled. So that's a good comp, right? But Victor Wembanyama is significantly better than he is. But okay.
Well, I'm going for that. Now he ain't significantly better. He ain't proved nothing yet. Let him get in there. He didn't prove one thing.
No, let me significantly better prospect.
I'll go for that.
No
significantly better.
I mean, Wembanyama's prospect. Bringing the ball up the court. He's shooting threes.
Oh, he's tough. Ralph could bring the ball up.
No, not like no, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. I mean, Ralph
Well,
Sampson
we're gonna have to go back on the film.
No, let's not do that now. Ralph Sampson was
not right
prospect,
now,
good
but
player.
we're gonna go back on the film.
Okay, can you think of a player who is a comp for Jokic? I got one in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of one? Ralph Sampson was a very good one. I got to give credit where credit's due. Ralph Sampson was an interesting comp. Came out with a lot of hype, etc.
Well, I
what
think
about Jokic?
It's not too many guys is as physical as Jokic and have the talent that Jokic have. And as we, you hit me with these questions, I like to call on you too. But the one of the first European players that came over, he was sitting on their bench for the Mavericks.
You talking about Dirk Nowitzki?
Dirk Nowitzki, but he's not as physical as him. But his moves around the basket, he can knock down a few plays, and he can run the floor. So
my comp. I don't think Nowitzki's it, right? Nowitzki's a 3-4. This guy's a 5. Nowitzki couldn't pass at all, right? And passing is a significant part of his game. Okay, so how about a guy like Sabonis, whose son is in the NBA right now? He reminds me of Sabonis. Sabonis was about 7'4", 7'5", could put the ball on the floor, was an amazing player in Europe. He came later on in his career to the NBA, played for the Portland Trail Blazers, was a really good player even when he came to the NBA. But, legends said that he was the greatest player, arguably in the history of Europe when he was over playing in international territories. But they would never let him out of his country, the former Soviet Union wouldn't let him out of his country, I believe it was, to come play here in the U.S. But Sabonis was a guy that was 7 feet plus. He was a phenomenal passer like Jokic, could shoot the three, but also would post up. So Jokic, to me, is a better example of what Sabonis was. Sabonis is a big
100% agreement. You couldn't have picked a better comp for this conversation. That dude there, and how old he was and how well he played in the NBA, I only wish that we could have seen him in his earliest.
Yeah, we've seen him earlier, and his son right now, right, is in the NBA now, plays for the Sacramento Kings, all-star level player, very good player, again, leads them in assists, right, and he's not the point guard, right? You have a really good point guard, De'Aaron Fox, on that team, but he leads them in assists. He's a 20 point per game point guy, high assist guy, high rebound guy, one of the leading rebounders in the NBA and an all-star. So he's picked up right where his dad left off, and he's a great player. So those are some comps. All right, so I hear you. Who you start with? Who I start with? Good.
Yeah, you got the best one though. That was perfect. That dude there was perfect.
So good kickoff. We'd love to hear from the fans. We'd love to hear from everybody out there. Let me know who you think. Who would you start your NBA franchise with if you were starting today? As we switch gears right now. So look, there's a lot of talk going on right now about Danny Hurley. Okay, candidate for the Lakers. The Lakers offered him a $70 million deal. He decided to say no. Danny did, and he is staying at UConn, where he just won 2 national championships. But Danny Hurley comes from a very historic family, a very historic coaching family, coaching royalty, you would almost say. Okay, his dad, Bobby Hurley Sr., Hall of Fame coach at St. Anthony's in New Jersey, in Jersey City. Hall of Fame coach. He's in the Hall of Fame. 26 state championships, 4 national championships, produced pros, including his son, Bobby Hurley Jr., and helped countless youth and young men in Jersey City use basketball as a vehicle to get to college, etc. And then you have Bobby Hurley Jr., the son that played at Duke, phenomenal player at Duke, won 2 national championships at Duke, got drafted into the NBA, had a horrible accident, and then became a coach. He's a current coach at Arizona State. So he's had a really good playing career at Duke, and now he's having a coaching career right now. And then you have Danny Hurley, played at Seton Hall, became an assistant coach, a college assistant first. Then he coached at St. Benedict's High School for 9 years as a head coach. Then he went to Wagner and was the head coach there. Low Division I school, took him to the NCAA tournament. Then he left Wagner, went to Rhode Island. Mid-Division I school, took him to the NCAA tournament. And now he's at UConn and won 2 national championships. The question is, right, very accomplished family, a lot of accolades, great success on the court as players and coaches. Of the 3, okay, if it stopped today, whose career would you prefer to have? Bobby Hurley Sr., Bobby Hurley Jr., Danny Hurley. Of the 3.
Well, I'm surprised. I like people that motivate others, people that creates a roadmap. And listen, Bobby Hurley went to Duke and showed the small brothers basketball players in size that you can accomplish getting to do at the height that he was at. But his father is an advocate for the community. And so I say, as being the person who tries to advocate for my community, those are special people. And all the accolades you read about them, I'm happy about. But here's a man who was in law enforcement that tried to help people in the community, especially my people, the young Black American child who need leadership and help. So for me, Bobby Hurley Sr. is the one that, even though I like winning back-to-back championships, and a shot at 3 puts you in a whole different category of coaches. And I like that. But
with Danny Hurley, the younger one.
Right. But as far as, the community and the man's accomplishments, Bobby Hurley Sr.
Okay, so that's fair, and I know you like the community. You like to do a lot for the community. Bobby Hurley Sr. did a lot for kids in Jersey. Like I said, 26 state championships, which is crazy. 4 national championships. You know the thing about him that I find interesting, though? Not a lot of pros, right? High-level pros. I mean, his son is probably the best pro that he produced. Well, best player he produced, right? He wasn't really a pro for a lot of years. He's not the best pro because he got hurt, right? But he was the highest profile player. But he had guys like Terry DeHare, who had a better NBA career than his son. But DeHare, Jerry Walker, okay. Kyle Anderson is probably, he's high profile now. Kyle Anderson, who went to UCLA out of there and plays right now in the NBA for Minnesota, is a decent level player. Slow-mo Jersey guy. Yeah. But, Rashad McLeod was another guy. But it's interesting, as good as Hurley Sr. was as a coach and as a mentor in the community and as a community advocate in Jersey City, he didn't produce more pros, interestingly enough. David Rivers was another great guard that played for him. Oh, he was one of my favorite players when he went to Notre Dame. He was showtime.
Yeah, showtime.
So not a lot of pros, but I understand the advocacy, the community angle that you chose, because I know that's something that's important to you, right? Helping your community. So I get that. Okay.
But I just like to say one thing too, though. He is a man that, a lot of times we don't often talk about white people. Now, so that this guy was a white man who saw what our Black children was going through and tried to help them. Even when they was trying to close the school, St. Anthony, a few times, he went out in the community and fought and kept the school open. So I just like to thank him.
So Bobby Hurley Sr. also, right, I got to give him some credit too, because he's at the top of the food chain, right? He's the one who birthed the kids and taught them basketball and taught them how to play and taught them how to coach. And so he's been inspirational from that perspective. So I can't really argue with that. I think that's a really good pick.
And
hold on.
Sorry.
I think I would probably pick Bobby Hurley personally, because I think Bobby Hurley, the way he impacted the sport of basketball at Duke, he's probably, and by the way, again, Hurley Sr., the father, is one of only 3 high school coaches inducted into the Hall of Fame. So another kudo to him. All right. But Bobby Hurley, the way he impacted basketball, the way he impacted Duke, the way he impacted, he's the assist leader, I think, still today in the history of the NBA. In the history of college basketball. But he's the one that birthed the Duke program. Him, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, the Duke program that we know today, right, was built on the back of Hurley and those guys, right? He was most outstanding player in the Final Four, won 2 national championships. Oh my goodness. But everything that we learn and we know about Duke today, Johnny Dawkins and those guys before then, they were a part of it. But that Bobby Hurley class was great. And like you said, he was a little point guard. So he was a little point guard. He was small, but he showed you that if you have grit and toughness and determination, you can make it. And then he got to the NBA too at 5'11", which is fantastic. And then he had a really horrible car crash that I think that his intestines came out of his stomach, and so he was never able to recover from that and play. He was a top pick by the Sacramento Kings in the NBA. And I think he would have had a good NBA career, not great, right? He's kind of small and undersized, but you can never count him out because he was small and undersized and he was so great in college. And then now he's moved on and he's done a good job. He was an assistant with his brother for at Buffalo, I think at Ryder. No, excuse me, at Ryder, at Wagner. At Wagner. I think he was an assistant also at Rhode Island. And then he got his own coaching job at Buffalo and he took them to the NCAA tournament. And on his staff was Nate Oates, who right now is the head coach at Alabama. And then he now is at Arizona State. Ups and downs. I don't know why he took that job, though. That was a weird job to me to take, right? To be in Arizona. And he's an East Coast guy. His family's an East Coast family. And so I would probably take him because I just loved his playing career and his stamp. I feel like it's really big. But Danny, you can argue him two national championships. He did it the right way, the way he learned his trade from his father. And then he went out there and applied it. And he went to the high school level first and did it. He was an assistant first in college. Then he went to the high school level, applied his trade and learned how to do it. Then he was a low Division I college coach and did it. A mid Division I. Then he went to UConn and won 2 national championships. And like he said, right, basketball, UConn right now is the epicenter of college basketball. And he has a chance right now to win his 3rd. Okay, great. Okay, great. But I just feel like the father, the 2 Bobby Hurleys, junior and senior, are a little bit more accomplished across the board. So I would have to choose between the 2 of them. Senior, you chose, which I get. I love the community advocacy, and he's a great coach. But I'm going Hurley because, man, and also that was kind of my era when he played in college. So he was something else. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that being the case, we all hated him when he was in college. We all hated Duke, right? And we all love when Kenny Anderson came down the court. Oh, Queen's best, getting ready to talk Queen's best, left rack city lefty. Kenny Anderson used to kill at Georgia Tech. Used to eat Bobby Hurley a lot. Different story for a different day, but Bobby Hurley, great. So you go Bobby Hurley Senior, I go Bobby Hurley Jr., but Danny Hurley, right, when it's all said and done, if he keeps on rewriting the history books, right, we may look at this 10 years down the line and have to change our picks.
Well, the only one thing I'd like to add, the man didn't get the best players. And so...
Who didn't get the best players?
Bobby Hurley Sr.
Why didn't he? That's not true. That's
not true. They're not in the NBA.
But he
got good.
Roger Rose was the #1 player in the country in high school. He never made it to the NBA. So that's not true. He had so many McDonald's All-Americans, high school All-Americans that didn't make it. So that
was on his staff.
On his team.
On his team.
Unequivocally.
Top 10 players. Study that. That's because I don't think he had the top players that was coming out at the time. You named one guy, but I don't know that
Terry was a top player. Jerry Walker was a top player. Kyle Anderson was a top 5 player in the country. Roger Rose is the #1 high school player. He had players. I can go on and on and on about players that were.
All you just named was average players that played in the NBA. They didn't even have a large.
But they were top players in high school.
Okay.
So that's not. Right. We're not saying what they did in the NBA. He did have top high school players. That's a fact. Right. So we can. That's not even arguable. He had some of the best high school players in the country, and he went to college, and a lot of those kids never panned out. High level high school players. I mean, St. Anthony's, you can't win national championship after national championship, 4 national championships, and 26 state championships without high level players. I mean, the competition is too good for you to win at that level without having high level players. So he had them. Now, how they became pros, it didn't come. I'm not blaming them necessarily, right, in terms of producing pros, but he had high level players. Now, so okay, so you took senior, like I said, I took junior. Now, as we keep talking, I know you were excited about this playoffs, okay, because it feels like your Knicks arrived in the WAC Eastern Conference, okay. I know you're a huge Knicks fan. You got your Knicks hat on. The Bum Knicks have been the most overrated franchise and team for the last 30, 40 years. Everybody talks about you need a winner in New York to carry the NBA, which you don't. And the Knicks have continually been terrible. And the Knicks are overrated. But you finally got some good people in charge, Leon Rose, Worldwide West, and your guy, right, the owner of the team, Dolan, has stepped aside seemingly to let these guys run the franchise. he's the worst owner probably in the NBA, right? Maybe even in sports in general, one of the worst. But anyway, with all that being said, it looks like the Knicks are trending in the right direction. You got Jalen Brunson, who's exceeded any expectation anybody could have ever had about him. Okay, coming there. I mean, he's on a $104 million contract, and he's playing like a max level player, you could argue. All-star, high level. You got some good pieces. Josh Hart, Randall is hurt, but he's very good. Harstein. I mean, you got some good pieces. OG Anunoby. So the Knicks are seemingly headed in the right direction. Okay. So my question to you is this: so talk about your Knicks, and if you could add one piece, I'm asking you, if you can add one piece to your Knicks team right now, and you feel like that piece, because right now you got pretty far in the playoffs, right? If you can add one player to your Knicks, right, and you feel like that player will push the Knicks into the championship, to win the championship, who would that player be in the NBA?
Well, that's easy. Paul George would be the player I would pick to come to the Knicks. We need an outstanding wing player.
Okay.
Anunoby, he is a good player. I love the way his defense, when he came, the Knicks went from 28, and the other players, it become, for a while, they was the best defense in the league. So for me, we just need that guy that could come down and get that basket when you need it, because a lot of guys I speak to in Harlem, they don't like Randall. But let me say this, Randall is a beast. And I believe if we would have had Randall healthy, we beat, I believe, because we was playing well. In my heart, I don't think we could have made it to the chips. But I will say this, I believe we would have been way more competitive. But by him being out, other guys came in and showed the talents that they had. So, hard.
So your one player right now is Paul George. So I have a question for you. Okay, I get it, Wayne. If Paul George is the guy that you bring in, okay, who's your number one and number two? And let me just say this: if you bring in Paul George, you can't sign Anunoby, right? Because you can't because Anunoby's going to probably demand too much money, and Harstein get all the guys back. So if you sign Paul George, you lose him.
No. I ain't losing nobody. This guy got to be close to a billionaire. I don't know how much money the Knicks
players is.
The owner.
No. But the second tax apron is $4. You're penalized for every dollar you over the second tax.
I'll take a shot.
Nobody's doing it.
1 year.
No.
Well, they said nobody was going to pay the super tax when it started.
Nobody said no. But that's your opinion. But I don't think people do. The first tax is 2-1. That's one thing. But if you $10 million over the cap, you got to pay 40 in penalties. I mean, I don't think no one's paying that. And Dolan is already a funny dude. So I don't think you're going to be able to get Paul. If you get Paul George, you're going to have to give up some. You won't get Anunoby. You may be able to keep that. I think it'll be hard to keep Randall, but you may be able to keep him. But you can't sign Anunoby too. But let me say this.
That's tough for me.
Right, because
Anunoby is a hell of a glue guy.
Because think about this.
He could play, man.
But think about this, right? And they play the same position. Paul George and Anunoby does, right? You can't pay him and Anunoby $150 million to come off the bench. I mean, you can't do that, right? So you can't. That doesn't work.
Well, the bubble burst is these people done said now you have to have 4 times the
right.
tax.
So it's a super
that
tax.
That just makes it very difficult.
And the idea, just so you know, is they're trying to stop super teams. Because all these teams that were like squadding up to win, what they're trying to do is stop people from doing that. So now it's going to be really difficult to have 3 max players, right? Because you'll get over that apron pretty quick if you add other players. So you probably lose him.
I'll say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do, Anunoby, I like this dude. He plays he brings a lot to the table.
Okay.
Rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
He can pass too. He got a little halfway corner shot threes that he knocked down. He got plenty hard, and he plays some hell of a defense.
Paul George does that too. Right?
No, Paul George
plays defense. He's a better ball handler.
I can't afford Paul George. So from what you're saying to me, I'm gonna have to look down another level.
So you would not take Paul George to keep OG?
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, one of the things
So
too,
just set up
Paul
any player
George,
you
I
add.
liked him about this year, last couple of years. He's been a little more healthier than he has been. So that's kind of like swayed me some. So I would have to get back to you and look at these little young brothers, players that's got a lot of heart and that's doing well in the system in the NBA right now.
But the Knicks, the problem with that is the Knicks don't have a star besides Brunson, and I'm not sure Brunson can carry.
Randall is a star.
Wait, hold on. But Randall's not a guy. You just said yourself, even with Randall, they can't win a championship on. So the question is, if you look at the NBA right now, the NBA is about star power. And stars are what leads teams to championships. You look at Luka, you look at Kyrie, you look at Brown, on Tatum, you look at all the teams, right? The teams are being, you look at Jokic, you look at all of the teams that win, Anthony Edwards, Embiid, the superstars carry their teams, right? And superstars are who carry your team to championships. You can't win probably a championship with Tatum and excuse me, hold on.
Yeah.
You can't win a championship with Randall and Brunson as your 1-2 punch.
No, I'm going to rephrase my statement. Coming back off his surgery, you definitely have to see what he can do. But I think once he get an opportunity to play with this team, because he had to be excited on the bench and wish that he was out there. So I'm rephrasing that to say, give them a year after Randall get back.
So
then we can.
So you think you can win? You can win with a championship potentially with Randall and Brunson.
Right, because one thing the Knicks are doing, they playing some good defense, and a lot of people don't like Randall, but one thing about Randall is a beast, and you gotta have a beast when you gonna win the chip.
So you don't add a player. You think the Knicks stand pat?
No, I wouldn't necessarily stand pat. I'll see what the market.
You don't add a star.
I'm keeping my team I got. I can't afford a Paul George, so I'm gonna have to look in the marketplace for me a good wing, a good young wing, and him and Andrew Ginobili can mix well together from that wing spot. So I'm gonna have to look at me.
So that'll be a bench guy.
Well, it all depends on who we play.
You can't pay a guy $150 million and have him off the bench.
But that's why I say I want to look at the younger players.
Right.
Or some mid-level players who not superstars, but they glue guys.
Well, you already have Josh Hart there. So if you keep running over, you don't have to find anybody else. Because Josh Hart is your glue guy, and your guy that comes off your bench now.
Well, he was playing a little one, a little two.
He can't be a
I don't
one.
want to.
He can't be. Brunson's a one.
He brought the ball. I said help. He helped. He brought the ball up the court a few times. So what I mean is he's a player that we can use in different positions. But I don't want him to keep getting beat down trying to play power guys. That's not who he's supposed to be checking. So he needs to stay in that 3-2 someone realm. No, he ain't my wing.
Josh Hart can't play no more. But let me say this. Can't play no
well,
more.
They didn't think he could play as well as he played from this year.
He can't play.
Well, I'm going to give it a shot and see how it works.
Okay. Well, I don't think Josh Hart has ever played the one in his life.
And we don't have to break. I didn't say he played the one. I said he brought the ball up a few times.
Playing 1, 2, and 3. He can't play the one. No one would ever put Josh Hart.
Helping. He don't need to play the one. We got Brunson playing the one.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. But he's not a backup one either, right? I mean, he's not a backup one. Even if Brunson's playing, you don't put him on the bench and put Josh Hart at the one. But let me say this. I disagree with what you're saying. There's a 0% chance in my, I guess never 0%, but a 0.001% chance that the Knicks can win a championship currently configured. What I would do if I was the Knicks, you hope the Lakers, this is what I would hope if I was the Knicks. You hope not the Lakers, excuse me, the Celtics win a championship. You hope. And then when the Celtics win a championship, maybe Jaylen Brown wants his own team, right? And by the way, I would take Paul George any day over Anunoby, and I would get rid of Anunoby in 2 seconds if I could get Paul George, who happens to be a free agent this year. But if I was the Knicks, Tatum's contract is coming up, okay? Do you want to have Brown for $305 million, and you're going to have to pay Tatum $330 to $40 million? the Boston Celtics may not want that on their payroll because it's going to be hard to then fill in the gaps in between. So if I'm the Knicks, I'm trying to figure out how can I put a package together to Boston. Hopefully, Jaylen Brown wants to leave Boston once he gets his ring and have his own team. Because realistically, people argue he's the best player on the team. People argue he's the best player on the team, but Tatum gets all the shine. The NBA is pushing Tatum, Boston is pushing Tatum, but Brown's the best player, right? So should Brown then push his way out, come to the Knicks, be the star on the Knicks because he can be that, and he's shown in his playoffs he can be the best player on a championship caliber team, and you win that way. And
you who are you giving up off the Knicks to get Brown?
Anunoby. And you got 5 first-round picks. Listen, what do you mean who am I giving up? I'm giving up anything they want except for Brunson, right? And listen,
and then you'll be in rebuild mode again. If you're gonna give up anything he wants.
I said instead of Brunson, I mean it's not gonna be you're not gonna give up 10 players, but if they say, hey, let's put a package together and give us Anunoby, give us multiple first-round picks, 3 to 4 first-round picks, give us Josh Hart, and give us something else for a chance to have a bona fide.
So I'm gonna give you saying 5 positions.
4 picks.
I'm gonna give you.
I didn't say 5 positions. I said 4 picks.
You said, and then you said give us something else.
I just said Josh Hart. I just said Anunoby. I just said Hart and Anunoby, and also and also Mitchell Robinson or Hart.
No.
Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on. You can't keep Mitchell Robinson and Hartstein. You can't keep both of them against salary wise. So one of them you're gonna lose.
It hasn't happened yet. So we got to see. Hartstein, I know they're coming to get Hartstein.
Right. So one of them got to go. So my point is, I would re-sign Hartstein or sign Robinson, and then I'll put the other one in the package. All right, and then trade them. And then you Boston, then you got just superstar Tatum. Right. You add some really good pieces to the team. Right. And then you stay good in terms of the cap to a degree. And then the Knicks get their superstar player that can lead them to the championship. You got to give players up. You're not trading for a guy that you feel like is going to lead you to a championship with number 1 option without giving up players. I mean.
What you just named is, listen, ain't nobody worth all of that as far as.
Yes, they are.
No.
If you got a superstar that can give you,
you gonna mess up this team. I just named
3 mediocre players. OG Anunoby is a mediocre player.
He ain't no mediocre player.
Why is he
not? I'm disagreeing with you there.
Josh, the big man we talked about is a mediocre player. And then your guy Hart.
Robinson is not mediocre. Robinson is physical enough.
Here comes subjectivity.
This ain't no subjectivity.
How's he not mediocre?
Before he got hurt, the Knicks was rolling. Blocking shots, physical. No.
Okay.
You got to give role players respect, man. You ain't gonna win no chips without them.
So
they have to get their respect.
You still have other role players that you keep. The point is you have to give up players.
Yeah, but you wanted me to. Okay, I'll give you the 3 first-round draft picks.
4 first-round picks.
All right, you want 4 first-round picks.
4 star. That's
and then you want Randall and Anunoby and Hart and somebody else. Yeah. That's 8 people. No, you killing our team.
We said 8 people. What you said? I'm killing your team. You're losing 3.
8 players.
Wait, hold on. You're leaving 3 guys off your team. What 8 players you're losing?
I'm giving you 4 first-round draft picks.
Yeah, but I mean that's what you give up. Those are not guys on your team.
They my picks though. I've got to give them up. I can pick with my own 4 first-round picks. But you saying 4 first-round picks?
First-round picks are going to help you win right now when you're getting in the playoffs every year. None. So realistically, it's not like
we haven't been getting in the playoffs every year. One thing you said correct was listen, we got 30.
You're going to keep getting in the playoffs at this point, right? At the Knicks, the way they configure. So your picks are not. It's not like your picks are going to probably be high level picks. You'll be getting in the playoffs.
You can't name that. You can't say that. You don't know who's going to come up out of that. But listen, I'm going to agree with you. I'll give you the 4 picks, 4 first-round picks.
Yes.
Too keen on giving up. I'll give you Anunoby and Hart. Okay. Which I don't want you. I want both of them, to tell you the truth. I don't want to give up, but that's a lot for one guy.
Not for a number 1 guy who you feel like is a superstar in New York and who just won a championship for
I don't know about. Listen, I like Brown, and I always told them young brothers when we talking basketball in Harlem about Brown. always said that I would choose Brown over Tatum. But I like Tatum. I don't have nothing. Tatum played hard. Tatum was excellent rebounder. He'd be in there at 6'8", battling with these dudes. I like Tatum, but I like the physicalness.
So Brown and the Knicks, you got to give a play.
But Brown ain't proved nothing yet to me. He just won
he
good.
Proved nothing. He's about to win the
series.
championship.
Well, he's about to do
and
that. But I'm not giving away all of that for Brown. I'm telling you now.
And not only is Brown going to win the MVP if he plays well today of the finals, but he also won the MVP of the conference championship.
Yeah, he did. Listen, he did all of that now. He did all of that.
He's a great guy. He's a great player. He's a smart guy. So anyway, that would be my pick. But you would take. But it sounds like you would stand pat and you would keep Team Essex for another year, and you don't feel like
no, you can't say I sound like that because I still have options to make trades. I said I got to go and look and find a wing that could give me enough where I don't have to deal with this 4 times super structured salary. No.
When you say wing, my point is you have a starting wing right now. If you pay Anobi, if you pay him, he's a starter. You can't if you pay him, he's just you have a starting wing.
Listen,
so you're not.
I don't know what they're gonna pay him. I don't know what they're going to do. Well, you can get another wing now.
I said starting wing. I say starting wing.
Well, he's going to be the starting wing.
Right.
And we bring in the other person
the point
off
is
the bench.
You're not bringing in another high superstar level player to play on the wing to start.
Well, listen, Randall is enough star for me. He's an all-star. So Randall is enough physical for this next team. That's what we need.
But why you say Randall physical? You don't want to always say that he shoot too many jumpers. Now he's physical.
No, I said he shoot a lot of jumpers. No, my worst thing about it was he can't pass and he ain't learned how to dribble with going to other with his opposite right hand.
But guess
what? You don't need to pass now. We got enough passes. We don't need him to pass nothing. We need him to be a beast.
But
that's what we need.
Let me ask you a question. When you say you have enough passes, you don't have passes.
Why we
false? Because Brunson is offensively oriented. He's not a passer.
Brunson give up passes.
He's a 6.
Hard give up passes.
When you say you have enough passes, you have no elite passer on your team. No, you don't.
I don't need elite. We a team. We not no.
You have no good passers on your team. Brunson's a 5 or 6 assist guy in high usage. He's shooting the ball. You saw in the playoffs, and I guess he didn't have help. But there was one game in the playoffs in the overtime. He took every shot.
But that's what he felt he had to do.
Yeah, but the point is Brunson is not really a high assist guy ever, right? And Hart is not a high assist guy. Nor is Anunoby, nor is Randall.
But when you put them all together, because I got to go and do my research on their assists together. The Knicks moved the ball. Listen, Randall, all he got to do is be a beast, and that's what he is. Nobody can deny that Randall is not a beast.
Well, I can deny that because what's your definition of a beast? Because you said the name.
A beast is a guy coming at you all the time. A beast is a guy, even though people don't like, he done knock down jumpers in clutch time. See, wait a minute now, you asking me. And he is a top free throw shooter for power players at the end of the game. So y'all telling me about Randall? Oh yes, I just named why the Knicks, and he coming at anybody. He don't care about who up under that rim. He coming, and that's the kind of guy I love. No, I'm not giving Randall up for nothing.
So just something clear. Who said give up Randall? I mean,
but no, I'm just saying people talk about that.
Scenario, who said give up Randall? No one said that. My issue is with Brunson and Randall, you don't have enough superstar power to win a championship. Brunson can't. No little guard is winning the way Brunson plays. There's no little guard, right, since Isaiah Thomas, okay, that can play that style of game and win. And that was how many years ago?
But he played like Isaiah. No, he don't got a jumper like Isaiah, but he definitely played like Isaiah.
Different NBA today.
Right?
And the point is,
but he's physical. How many guards can get inside?
Lots of guards can.
Where? But they be as physical as him?
They don't win championships, right?
They be as physical as Brunson.
A lot of guards can get to the basket and score in the rim. It's hard for a guard to lead a team to a championship. It's that small.
Listen, you right about one thing. Hard. The play of the NBA, just like you say, is very rare that
a little
small guard
6'1" point guard
win
is going to
in
win.
the chips.
And
But
not,
when
not,
you
not
got
just win, but
a
also be the
dude
guy.
like Hard, who play hard, and Ginobili, who play hard.
No. But we talk about the stars. It's a stars league, though.
I got my stars, Randall and Brunson.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
They all stars.
Let me ask you a question, okay? When you talk about guys that win championships, let's just go and look at it in the last how many years. Let's talk about the players. We talk about level of player. Let's go LeBron, Curry, right? With KD. Those two are together, right? These are guys winning. You look at Jokic, right? You look at Antetokounmpo. You look at even going back to Tim Duncan. You look at Wade and LeBron. Like when you look at the level of player we're talking about, neither of your stars is close to the level of player that we're talking about. We're talking about winning championships. Jokic won last year. Who's your Jokic? Antetokounmpo won. Who's your Antetokounmpo level player? This year, I don't get when you say, right, that you feel like your stars. This is not a game. Bench players help. I agree with you. The others help. But the NBA, when it comes to winning championships, is about the highest level of stars. That's what it's about in the NBA when it comes to winning championships. It's not about you continually talking about team and togetherness.
Who was Denver's highest order of stars when they won the chips?
Denver?
Yeah.
Jokic.
No, not Jokic. God.
Murray
ain't great.
But Jokic is.
Right.
But
you telling me about the two stars.
I didn't say no. I said you need one superstar to win a championship. You don't have that.
I got two all-stars.
That's not enough.
Oh, I believe it is.
In every example I gave you, in all of the championships, the superstars.
But I can give you examples. Look at Miami. When they won the chip before LeBron got there.
Wade was a superstar. He was the top
one. Who was the other superstar with him?
My point is, I'm not
saying.
Who
was the other superstar?
You don't need two superstars. You need one superstar is what I'm saying. You need one superstar.
Well, I'll take my two stars against your
Antetokounmpo, when he won, he was a superstar. He didn't have another superstar with him. I mean, at the end of the day, the league is about
You got
superstars.
The one superstar, but then you got the other guys that put in their effort. What's his name is an all-star, but he's just staying hurt now.
It's no way Brunson is going to win you a championship as your superstar player. Or Randall's your superstar player. The NBA is about superstars.
With you.
Okay.
In this new era of basketball, I'm disagreeing with you.
Okay. Fair enough. You can disagree, but just, I have all the empirical evidence and you have none.
I don't need no empirical evidence. I've seen what we building, and so I'm so happy that we got 60 or 70 years worth of quality basketball minds who have been building this team.
Listen, and they're trying to get a star by
of course. You can try to get what you can
get. But they're trying to get rid of some of your guys to get a star.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Because they realize they're a superstar away from winning.
Randall. And my man, once again,
Randall's horrible in the playoffs, by the way. He plays good during the regular season because he plays hard. And every year in the playoffs, he chokes.
Better players around him
now. Every year in the playoffs.
Randall has better players around him. Okay. He's been sitting on the bench watching how these brothers is playing. No, me personally, I'm not no GM or anything, but I've been watching the Knicks in basketball for many years. You build until you get the players you need. Now I'm agreeing with you. You gotta have. I said two. You were saying two superstars.
No, you need two superstars. You need one superstar. You don't need two superstars.
Okay, so my two all-stars is a superstar.
No, it's not.
Okay,
that's your opinion. You need one guy that's a first All-NBA player for the most part that can carry.
Brunson did that this year.
No, he's not.
Even in the playoffs.
No, he's not a first NBA level player. No, he's not.
No, you trying to tell me Brunson shouldn't have been the first NBA player?
A first team NBA player this year? No.
Oh, come on, son.
Brunson should not have been the first NBA.
Yes, he should have.
So let me ask you a question.
No doubt about that. He should have.
But he wasn't even a third All-NBA player.
What?
He wasn't even a third team All-NBA player, I don't think. Like when you say he wasn't a second team All NBA player. So what do you mean?
Listen, Brunson was the hottest player in the league the second half, even early on the second half. Brunson was the hottest player in the league. Now you got to admit to that.
That's absolutely not true.
Okay.
He was a good player, sure.
No, don't go with that good stuff. No. Brunson
Very good player.
was one of the. I'm gonna say it one more time. Brunson was one of the hottest, best playing player in the NBA.
Okay. So all I'm saying is this. I hear you. You ain't winning the championship with a 6'1" point guard, right? That's driving to the lane all game long, okay? That's not making the players around him better, and that's a pecan. You're not winning that way. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not winning that way. Now, I hear you. Give it another try. I believe the Knicks need to get a superstar to win. And you don't have that. I think Brunson would be a lovely second option, right? I would get rid of Randall personally and bring a superstar in. Brunson is my second option. I bring in a real superstar, and the Knicks at that point on the championship road. Whether they win or not, something different. That's how I see it. Let's close out with this. I know the Knicks get you hot. Let's close out on this, okay? Game 4 tonight. You got the Boston Celtics. Will Boston close out Game 4 and give me your impressions about this horrible, atrociously played, one of the most atrociously played NBA Finals that we've ever seen before? I can't believe, and Boston's not even playing great, by the way, but Dallas has been, and Kid, I like Kid, has been outcoached by Missoula, but the way Dallas has played in this series, they just dogged it. They played like dogs. Luka Doncic played like Luka Doncic should be the most embarrassed person right now in the history of the NBA with the level of defense that he's playing. You talking about leaving your teammates out to hang. You're playing 4 and 5 every possession, and not are you playing 4 and 5 every possession. Let me tell you what makes it worse. Okay, he don't play D, right? And then on offense, if they foul him, he cries to the referee the entire game. He cries to the referee the entire game like a brat. Wham, 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 wham. And then guess what he doesn't do? Get back on D. So the guy is crying to the refs. The guy doesn't play defense. He's playing matador defense. I mean, if you watch it, they attack him, swing, swing, swing. And if you get the ball and Luka Doncic is guarding you, attack. And the guy doesn't even give you effort. He plays, it's not even just matador defense. You're talking about, it's so bad. He doesn't even try to play defense. It's atrocious. And so what a way to let your team down. So it's good. And this NBA, you talk about great players. You talk about, oh, this guy is great. And it's always offensively based. And this is why, and this is an aside, but this is why KD could never be the best player in the NBA for me. You can't be the best player in the sport, in my opinion, if you don't give effort on defense. You can't be, you have to be you got to play both ends of the court. It's basketball, you play offense and defense. This guy, Luka Doncic, is probably the worst defensive player in the NBA, and he also gives the worst effort. And we keep praising him, and he's so great, he's so great, he's so great, he's so great. It's atrocious what he's doing out there.
Well, I think Luka Doncic, they said, was hurt. Had 3 or 4 injuries.
This always happens. Come on.
I didn't see any lift a lot towards the end of those games where the ball is hitting the front of the rim. So maybe those injuries had something to do with it. But I think also the pressure.
Hold on, can I just interject for a second?
Yeah.
But this is no choice. He never plays D. This is something that's so let's not say, right, he plays D normally and maybe certain, because by the way, he's still getting triple doubles offensively. And I said this, as you know, weeks ago about this. So this is not everybody's coming to the party. I said this before. You can look at my post days and days and weeks ago. But anyway, that is this has always been a Luka Doncic issue, but it's glaring now because you're in the finals on that stage. So I don't want you to bring the injury issue in because he's always had this issue. Now go ahead. Let me let you finish now.
I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
Sometimes pressure break pipes. I think what Luka Doncic failed to realize, when you get to this level of play, you have to give it everything you got, mentally, physically, concentrating, on everything. it was not only just his lack of defenses. Some of the passes, the plays he made, then he wants to blame the teammates for this. That type of leadership don't work. So I'm hoping somebody grab a hold of him and show him how to be a leader. You understand?
Because somebody show him how to play some defense.
And then
They got our guy Sham God, right, who's helping them offensively with his handles, I'm sure. But now they need to ask somebody on the defensive side because and he clearly doesn't listen, right? Because I'm sure they're trying to implore him to play defense. And by the way, also, what someone stabbed in offensively, it's like, Kyrie takes the ball, he goes one-on-one. Luka takes the ball, he plays one-on-one. Okay, the ball never moves. The defense never has to shift and change, and the others are atrocious. But the others don't have a chance because they just play one-on-one. I mean, Luka holds it, dribbles up the court. I mean, it's crazy. These guys dribble up the court and then play one-on-one. The ball never rotates.
well, both teams are doing that now.
No, that's not true. Because let me tell you why that can't be true. Because if you look at the games, there are multiple players that are. Drew Holiday had the most points in the second game. Porzingis had 20 in the first game. So
But a lot
hold
of
on.
times
Derek
when
White.
they
Derek
come
White has
down,
16. Derek White has 16.
Brown and
No, but
Tatum
no, that's
is
not true.
taking the ball.
Other
The
guys
ball
are
get
scoring.
lost in their hole too.
Not close.
Not as much as
Not
the
close.
Mavericks.
Not close. That's
You
not
know.
true.
So, well,
The
I
ball moves.
disagree with
You
you.
can't disagree. That's a fact. You got other guys getting 20 points a game. That's a fact. There's no way you can say the ball doesn't on the Boston side is comparable to what's happening on.
No, it's not comparable. I don't say that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
It was
They play one-on-one from time to time too, but they move the ball way better.
Okay,
From time to time.
Now
They move the ball way better.
that's
Way better.
a conversation that's definite. They
Way
move the
better.
ball way better
Right, okay.
than
Way
the
better.
Mavericks.
So
right?
is it a sweep?
No.
Okay.
You know why? Because Boston always figure out a way to lose a game. They damn near figured out a way to lose that game. Now, if they can reel in, if they can reel them in a little, just
Real one.
Luka,
Mhm.
just reel them in some. Look, Luka, move your feet over here a little. I don't understand what maybe the man is
Selfish.
No doubt about it. Well, most
Selfish.
superstars are selfish.
But
You
that-
can't be a
But
superstar.
you got to want to win, right? You can't like a
I
lot
think
of
your man
superstars are
want to
selfish.
win with. I think
You
that
can't
pressure.
want to win playing D like that.
Listen,
That-
didn't they let him do that the whole season?
right. That's
And
selfish.
LeBron
You
them
right.
showed
You
you
right.
how to win. Because LeBron them did the same thing. Anytime Luka got in front of one of them, they ate him alive.
Attack.
So, but that's why they brought those dudes in that could play D.
But
See?
the problem is he's on the perimeter, and whoever he's guarding is now you 4-5 all game long. And then
Right.
That's
That's
you
hard.
4-5, and then on top of
yeah.
that, this what makes it crazy. And then half of the time again, he's yelling at the referees. Now look, he's yelling at the referees I get back on defense, so the effort is bad. But let me ask you a question. Then there's a human element to this too. Okay. At the end of the game, they could have reversed that call and gave it to Luka. That was a questionable
I
call.
thought it was going to be.
Right, and most of the times in the NBA, they reverse that call and let Luka stay in the game.
He's a superstar.
But those referees were so probably perturbed and annoyed that this guy's cursing them out all game long. This guy is cursing the referees out every single play. There's a famous song by Too Short that says, "Blow the whistle." Blow the whistle. That's all Luka say every time in play. Blow the whistle. That's what he's doing. So now you're a referee and this guy's cursing you out, excoriating you, screaming at you, and doing all of this all game long. If you have a chance to stick it to him, Dad. If you have a chance to stick it to him, what do?
I hope not. I hope that
human
wasn't
beings.
the case.
They're human beings.
But you look at the rules and regulations.
But listen, the rules.
I think it was one
they
of the
could call it either way.
terriblest calls
No.
in playoff history to sit Luka Doncic down on that play.
Let me say
Period.
Let me say this.
Sit him out of the game,
Okay.
even though.
You could call it that play. You could call block or charge in that, and it's the right call.
But right,
You call block
But-
or charge.
I want one of the best players in the game got to be on the floor. But one thing me and you both did agree on, they can play better defense now and try to check Boston better without him
the
there.
problem is, the fact that they didn't give their guys the ball to get in the play offensively, then now you want Kyrie to come down every play and play one-on-one.
Yeah,
Because these guys didn't get in a game. And then Tim Hardaway came in and played like bunches.
So I was disappointed.
Yo, Tim Hardaway, see, I know you're happy because that's your son, but your son is a bum. I'm going to be honest with you.
No,
the way he came in there and played, they took his job, and the way he came in there and played is embarrassing. He embarrassed because his father was a dog.
But you got to be.
Father, Tim Hardaway Sr., you was a dog. And I know you love your son, but you should. But come on, bro. He didn't inherit that clutch gene. I guess because he grew up in Miami, right, funding the son, and the father grew up in Chicago. And so you see a difference. But look, let me say this, right?
Listen, but I just want to say this about any player that they got sitting on the bench, they get no time, and then all of a sudden you put him in. This guy's probably rushing. He trying, but you got to, for me, you got to put players in the game. You can't just have players sitting on the bench and then think all of a sudden
I mean, you got Max Kleber coming in the game. He's scared to shoot.
Right.
Shots.
So homeboy should have got more time. Hardaway was playing good now at one point.
I don't know what point
I think he got hurt a few times.
You heard they brought the new guys in and they shifted and they sat them, right? I mean, they brought the new players in.
And then they wanted him now to come in to be the hero.
Well, they didn't want
Come
to be
on,
a hero.
you know, basketball,
that's
sports is a game of rhythm.
They didn't want him to be a hero.
You got to have some rhythm. Ain't too many guys can come off that bench. 5.
What do you mean? A lot of guys come off the bench. Only 5 guys can start. 7 guys on the bench. There's 12 guys on the roster.
I said, ain't too many guys come off the bench like Crawford. See, but Crawford is in the rhythm, in the rotation. This guy wasn't even in the rotation.
Well, listen, I don't want to get too bogged down in that, but the bottom line is, kid is being out coached. He's doing an atrocious job, and the problem is he can't coach Luka and these guys, right? The problem is nobody could coach him. He's a superstar, and Luka do whatever he want to do. It's clear. So they're being out coached. I think it goes to 5-2. Right? I think Boston doesn't have the mental toughness to win it in 4. I don't believe that. I think Kyrie plays great again today. By the way, Kyrie, welcome to the series. I don't know.
He might be.
Welcome to the series. But now he'll play good enough today. Luke will play good enough. But I think mentally Boston is satisfied, right? I think Boston.
I don't think Brown's satisfied.
Boston is mentally. Boston as a team is happy. I think to go back and run on their home floor in Boston. And by the way, Boston hasn't lost a game on the road this season.
You're right,
which is crazy.
Right. So it's
but I still think Boston is happy going back and I think it ends in Game 5. But I think Luka Doncic has to do some soul searching this summer if he wants to keep his team, and because I still don't think.
You know what, son?
I still don't think they're a championship team. Right? I think there are a lot of injuries this year in the NBA and things that happen, and they got their respect. But I don't know if they're a consistent championship contender, and they're not going to be able to ever win a championship with that guy playing like this.
Well, not playing like this. But you know what? I'm going to switch. Because what jumped in my mind was the veterans on Boston. And when you look and see, like the old timer came in and played decent, controlled the middle.
Don't come in, he starts, but okay.
Right. He came, Al Horford, the veterans, the point guard, the veterans. So, those veterans means a hell of a lot, especially when they getting those minutes on the floor. So I'm going with Boston veteran to close this game out tonight.
Okay, well, I disagree. I think that it goes 5. You win it.
I'll switch.
5. But okay, you think it's a sweep tonight. And by the way, let me put this into it as well. Let's not forget, right? Advertising dollars, the NBA is a business. Yeah. Okay, if I'm the NBA, okay, I don't want. You know how much money 7 games, 6 games pays me than 4. Mm-hmm. You think the NBA wants a sweep? I mean, think about how much money your sponsors and your commercials and the money you make. The longer the series goes on. Listen, so I think the NBA is going to do everything as much as they can, parameter-wise, to keep the game right, to keep Dallas winning, so you can extend the series a bit longer. So you got the NBA against you, Boston, right? You 3-0 right now. You rather win at home anyway, right in front of your family and your fans. Mm-hmm. You got a hungry. Everybody's killing Luka. Kyrie didn't play well, so and there's a pride factor. So all that included, I think Dallas will win tonight, but I think it'll be over in 5. And by the way, if you get to Game 5 and if Dallas wins, I'm just say this, okay? I'm just gonna say this, right? If Dallas wins Game 4 and 5, right? If Dallas wins 1 at home, 4 and 5, and you 3, 2, and 6 comes back to Dallas, watch out. I'm just gonna say why, because Boston will shoot you back in. Watch
No,
out.
they ain't coming to
So,
that.
so
That's
that's
why them veterans, I'm going with Boston veterans. Because one thing about Al Horford, you know, he don't have a ring, do he?
no rings.
No, he don't have a ring.
But I understand you going with the vets. You going with the vets.
I'm going
I understand
with
what
the
you're saying.
I was
Right.
just
But
wanted
I'm
to
just
be
saying.
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm
with the
saying
Vets.
you get to game 5, they
I
win
ain't
on
playing.
Boston.
That's why
They
I
win
said
on Boston.
kill them right away.
They win in Boston.
Because if you give hope,
They win in Boston. You go game 6, and you already know Tatum and Brown are both choke artists. You go at times. You go game 6, and then all of a sudden you're in game 7. So I tell you this: what's the name wins tonight? Dallas. But I sure hope Boston wins in 5. Because if Boston loses in 5, that Dallas start creeping in. I'm gonna tell you something. 6 is back in Dallas. 6 is back in Dallas. They win 6 in Dallas, and you go to 7. Look out. But anyway, on that note, right? We out. All right, Grandpa Smooth. We appreciate having you on the show.
appreciate being here.
Comment, subscribe, like. Love to hear from the fans. We going up. Right? We keep on growing. We keep on building. We keep on building this tremendous community that we have. We love having people like Grandpa Smooth come on the show and show love. Grandpa Smooth, you want to, say a little something before you out? Say something. Represent Harlem.
Listen, first of all, it ain't no community like Harlem. They done moved half of us out, but the few that's left, we still carrying on. We love basketball, y'all. To each and every one of you who's watching this program, I am thankful because the last time I was here, y'all wrote back some wonderful words about me, and you encouraged me to be who Grandpa Smooth is, which I'm gonna be anyway, but I like a little encouragement along the way. Thank you, Frank Harris, for allowing me on your show. Awesome. And to the technical people, thank you too.
Love everybody. We out.
Peace.
Watch out, Dallas.